What's going on, Faded Culture? My name is Sergio Barron, and we are back with another haircut tutorial. Today I got my boy Mason here, our first graduate from Faded Culture Academy. We're gonna be going over the step-by-step process on how to do a mid V-fade. Hopefully, y'all able to learn something based on any questions that he may ask me. Also, in this video, I am gonna be doing a giveaway on these new WAHL high-vis trimmers. Really light, really powerful clippers. Give me a positive comment in the comment section and make sure that you drop your email so that I can contact you if you win. I'm gonna choose a random winner, and in the next video at the beginning, I'll go ahead and announce who won. But other than that, we could jump right into this tutorial. Looks like you did a V-fade last time?
Yeah.
You wanna stick with that?
Yeah, sure. Like I'd set the guideline like a V, like just like a mid drop.
Yeah, so yeah, like a mid drop, but then just kind of
Yeah.
V it in the back. The top, you do anything with it?
No, I think the length's cool on top.
Like the length? Yeah. Okay, cool. Have you done a fade like this?
I've tried.
Yeah?
It didn't turn out bad. It didn't turn out bad, but I just
Not how you
think
want
it's
it.
confusing, like how far to fade it into the V, you know?
Gotcha. When you fade, like what system are you using right now?
Y'all's pretty much to a T,
Okay,
but I just set my guideline in with my trimmer.
gotcha. Yeah, I mean, lately I've been kind of doing that myself, so I'll go ahead and do that. What I'm thinking we could do is I'll do one side, you do the same thing on the other side,
Bet.
and then we'll kind of alternate. I am gonna have you kind of like think a little bit about speed, because I feel like a lot of people have been kind of being too precise in the middle of the fade,
Yeah.
and it takes them too long, and I feel like sometimes they overdo. You know what I'm saying? They're a little too detailed, and instead of just kind of having the mindset of like, let me just kind of set down the fade and then go back in and detail later.
Yeah.
We are gonna use the new WAHL high-vis, the blue one that they just dropped. These things are so light, it feels like they have helium in them. Like if I let them go, they're gonna float. Nah, imagine. And then first, what I like to do too is set in like the quick, like rough draft of my C cup, because you keep the C cups, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna set in my first guideline, but look, one thing I want you to keep in mind that wherever I say to set the guideline, for this one, I'm gonna set it like about right here. A lot of times I see people kind of start at the line. I want you to kind of build the habit of starting a little bit before, so by the time you get to the line, you like flare out. You have time, you have room to flare out. And then also kind of keep in mind that as I'm setting in these guides, I'm already thinking that I'm trying to blend them. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to kind of be so stuck on trying to create a perfect line. It's just more so a guide for us to kind of keep track. I can do the same thing on this side. They're real light, right? It feels kind of a little awkward.
Yeah.
But they're real light.
Don't drop them, bro.
And now more or less you kind of see where you need to go, right? You just go straight down. Kind of meet it as a V. Do it a little more, instead of kind of coming down, you have to kind of go like straight that way. That's good right there. I think on this side I didn't come all the way, but just to kind of finish off that V. You gotta make sure his head's straight and kind of. Right here, coming up about a ½ inch, kind of the space of this comb right here. Just real light with it, come up about a ½ inch. And then right here, to preserve this, I'm gonna kind of stop right before it. You see what I'm doing? Before this line, just because I want to leave that line a little darker.
Yeah.
And I see you've been doing a lot of shear work. You've been getting a lot of fade work too?
Yeah. I get a fair amount of both, but I definitely get more shear work just because I
That's what you promote.
promote it more.
Yeah.
And most of my clients do like little tapers at least, but
Yeah.
mid fades are definitely like not very common for me. But I've been going crazy.
What do you mean?
I used to, for the longest time, I thought I was like an average barber.
Uh-huh.
And then I like started thinking about that, so I just started like putting in every single detail I can into each haircut. And for the past 2 weeks, every single haircut has been like, I love it. Like, it's perfect. So, yeah, I just, like I've been putting in the detail, I guess, like putting in the work, or like just spending the extra time. Like if I'm not booked up for the day, I only have 5 clients.
Oh, that's good.
If I have a good gap, I can really spend time on the haircut and make it look good. So.
Man, I say that to a lot of students, man, just especially in the beginning. Like if you know you don't have an after client, take your time and really hone in on that client that you do have, even if you can get like content out of it.
Yeah.
Lever open and then just come up about a 1/2 inch. And try to mimic as far as I went up on the other side. Try to get that little piece right there, right at the end. A little bit more. And then I want you to kind of tilt his head as well a little bit. Yeah, like that. So it can help you. Remember, stop right before the lineup. A little bit more. I want to only leave like 1/4 inch line. There you go. And then once you get to that top line, scoop out a little, like exaggerate that scoop out. Yeah. There you go, that's good. Now we're gonna go ahead and throw on the number 1. What part of the fade do you feel like you start struggling?
Well,
or do you feel like it's not so, like it's not going your way?
It's mostly the like density in the back. Like it doesn't, I feel like sometimes depending on the hair, and I kind of figured it out recently. Like I just started taking my no guard open and half guard a little bit higher to match the density of like the side of the head.
Okay.
But yeah, like sometimes it'll be like it's a nice fade on the side, and then towards the back it's just like super dark.
It
and
gets
looks
compressed.
like a compressed fade.
Yeah. I feel it.
And it's usually with like super dense, like, you know, thick hair.
Usually when I have clients like that, I just tell them to leave. Just make sure you have their credit card on file. Charge them anyway. What I'm noticing too is I feel like you're kind of pressing a little bit too much like that. I want you to kind of glide a little bit, like force yourself to kind of hover a little more on the scalp, and then when you get to that top part, kind of just lightly throw it out so that it tapers nicely. Because in reality, when you start learning how to like use minimal pressure with your clipper, you'll start understanding that you don't even need to be using a lot of guards a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you can get away with free floating and hovering with your clipper, like with the 1 guard. I already kind of set in my space. Now, if I wanted to use this same guard to keep fading, I could like just do that.
Yeah.
And just connect, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you gotta be real light and learn how to be real, or hold the clipper really consistent so that it doesn't accidentally like jerk up and give them a bald spot. I want you to go over it a little bit more right here, just because I want to see that. There you go. When you started barber school, how long were you cutting before that?
I was cutting for like a year, but it was like inconsistent, and as soon as I came here, I pretty much just dropped everything I knew.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You just kind of.
But I mean, I was watching y'all's videos, so like I knew the fade method and stuff.
Gotcha.
But in terms of like everything else, I mean, yeah.
Tight. Now the higher we go up with the guard, I want you to be lighter, just kind of like the same way that I'm saying that we're free float. I want you to kind of really already start thinking that you're trying to connect to this length. Just because when you have longer lengths, you have to kind of, if you just keep depending on the scalp, it's gonna be hard for you to really create that transition the higher we go.
Yeah.
That looks good. 1.5. This side looks a little higher because you had that design, but I'm gonna start more so trying to use the hump. And then as needed, I'll drop it down. But with the hump, it's already kind of helping you taper out.
Yeah.
I think that side had more of a disconnect, but
Yeah.
same thing. See how it's kind of getting a little harder to take that out?
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why, like, every time you start using guards, like, the softer you are, the easier you'll be able to kind of transition that out. But yeah, keep going. And if you have to kind of use like a corner instead of laying it flat, it'll help you kind of like get in there.
Yeah.
A little deeper than if you had it like all flat. I want to hit this a little bit more. I feel like right there still looks like a little dark. I feel like we can get rid of that part a little bit more. And then right here, like, come this way right there.
Like that?
Yeah, not too much. Yeah, that's kind of the idea. That's cool right there. For his hair, since he has really straight hair, I'm gonna keep using guards just because I feel like if I do clipper over comb or shear over comb, I feel like it's not as, his hair is not as forgiving when doing that. It'll catch like any little imperfection because it's so like stiff and straight. So I'm use the number 2 guard and try to finish establishing that connection. Really, I'm just like free floating, using more so like the hump, leading with that of the clipper to try to connect. Try not to dig in on the occipital bone. You see how the comb's coming this way?
Yeah.
That's kind of the angle that I'm following with the clipper. So now see how the comb's coming out? I want to throw the clipper out like that. Sometimes it helps when you tilt their head a little bit more. That way you're not having to kind of like come this way.
Yeah.
You can actually just focus on throwing the clipper straight up. Like if you throw it in a circle. But yeah, I'm really just trying to finish establishing that connection. Anything that's left after that, if it's an obvious disconnection, I'll do clipper over comb or shear over comb, whichever one. I'm cool with that. See, there's like no obvious disconnection.
Yeah.
It's like bulky, but we could take care of that with the thinning shears.
Yeah.
I know it's weird cutting for a camera, bro, but. There you go. Instead of going in like that, start already with the hump like that, and then kind of flare out. And then if you need to, you can even use a comb to help you, but not so tight. Like, let me show you real quick. Sometimes when it's like, if they have a lot of hair and you know this is where the fade is gonna end more or less,
Yeah.
like you can kind of help push it if needed. But instead of kind of going like that, because I don't want to, especially it's around the parietal, I don't want you to create like an indention in there, because again, like the parietal bone sticks out right here. If you dig this too in there and then come out like that, it's almost gonna be like it's gonna be like that, and it's gonna dip in and then come back out. So you wanna kind of keep that line straight from right before the parietal starts to bend in, and you wanna stay straight. So instead of me going like that, because you could potentially like dig in there, I'll start kind of like already with the line of the parietal and just kind of taper out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Honestly,
I've never done that before.
Never try it. Just do it real slow. Just don't do it too tight. Like you're basically just helping you're basically just helping the hair feed into the clipper, because sometimes hair, there you go. The tighter you do it, the more of a hard line you're gonna leave. So this is just kind of like you're holding the hair in place so that the hair can have time to feed into the clipper. So now I want you to finish kind of tapering it. Like instead of just coming out, try to finish connecting it yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you see, this is a good point or a good time where you could use that comb to help you feed it. If you feel like it's just pushing the hair, you'll use the comb to help you feed it in there. But first do the clipper, and then when you start seeing it, so first the way I'm doing it is like, first you use the clipper, and then once you see like his hair is being cut pretty good, but sometimes it'll like push the hair and not cut it.
Yeah.
So then that's when you throw the comb in, instead of trying to put the comb in first.
Okay.
So you do that, and then you kind of help it feed in there. I learned that in jiu-jitsu.
That.
You guys need to do a head shape tutorial, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You grab your lip.
Yeah. No gloves this time?
No glove. And I'm gonna touch the floor with his hair. There you go. I think that's good. I'm gonna just kind of go over the faded connection real quick just to connect anything if needed. This looks a little too heavy. I don't want to spend too much time as well with my clipper over comb. So I mean the thinning shears. So I'm gonna just quickly finish that connection. You rather do shear over comb than clipper over comb?
Yeah.
See over here on this side, it was already pretty much connected. All right, now we have with 2 guidelines. I know for this top line, I'm always using the half guard and the 1 guard, but my goal is to try to get rid of it just with this one.
Okay.
So I want to be really light with it, and I'm gonna just focus on this area right here. You could lightly see it. The more you get lighter at setting in your guides, the less you'll be able to see them. You know what I'm saying? But you still have an idea of where they're at because of your spacing.
Yeah.
So like right here, you see how you can barely see it?
Yeah.
But I know I'm in the realm of that area that I have to be at with this guard. So again, just using the corner, I'm gonna just be real soft, and I'm already trying to taper it. See how I'm not like I don't wanna like start doing that, because that kind of builds a habit of like resetting the guide. And now we can go all the way to the lineup, because basically I try to leave the lineup as dark as this half guard. So it just looks sharper whenever we do our detail lineup work. I'll go back if I need to. You know, I feel like right there I could still throw on the, you could do 2 things. You can free float and touch it up, but if you're not comfortable free floating and you don't want to like give them a bald spot on accident, then throw on the higher guard. And I normally just give myself like 3 tries to get it out. If not, I'll move on. At the same time, this is where I say I see a lot of students stay too much trying to get it perfect in the area where it's like, man, I think you just need to kind of get the fade down, and then we can do our touch-up work in the end.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just go over with the 1 guard. And here's what I'm gonna just use to finish connecting. So I'm gonna be even lighter with it. I'd rather start way more light and then kind of build a little pressure as needed than as opposed to doing it the other way. This is the part where I gotta be real careful that I don't create another guideline. See how I like free float a little bit? I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not really on the head.
Yeah.
I'll be on the head down here wherever the guide starts, but as I get higher, I'm like free floating a little bit. And then just move slow if you need to. Just focus on this area only. We'll move on until, give yourself like 3 tries to kind of go forward, then back, and then forward. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Let me see. Try to like lean the clipper in and just glide in it like that. See, I'm going more or so like straight up and down as opposed to kind of doing that. Yeah, practice that. I know it might feel awkward because you've never really done it. Yeah, but it's like that, and then as you get towards the top, you gotta kind of flare out without having to push in. I think we might have to take that a little higher to try to blend it out. You see that little dark line?
Yeah.
There you go, that's better. Matter of fact, hit that the same way you're hitting that, hit that as well. There.
Yeah.
I like boogers, right? That was good. Probably detail it a little bit more. Once you get to that part where it like kind of crunches, you hear it? Kind of like throw it up. Especially back here, because like you said, you know how towards the back it gets more dense.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Let's go with the one and finish kind of establishing any connection. The same thing, as soon as you hear that kind of crunch, kind of like flare it out. You don't want to create any more guides. Damn, my eyes are burned, dude. Allergies are killing me. Yeah, allergies are bad?
No, just
Oh.
tight.
Those are just his eyes. That's
It's just my eye. Wow.
I didn't say that. He was thinking it though.
And then like where this bone is here, it dents in a little bit. You don't go into it at all, or?
I do. Just kind of you just gotta be soft with it. You gotta work with the head. So, and then as soon as it like, see how I like flare out a little bit just to help me connect it. You just gotta be mindful of all those like where the head protrudes and wherever it like dips in. You just gotta be mindful. That's why I like to use the corner like that, and I almost have it like I have my finger position right at it, like anchored there. That way I can kind of control it a little bit more, as opposed to just kind of like depending too much. It's like you gotta really build a good intuition of when to use the hump and when to use like this part of the guard.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, you're doing good. Ah, shit, it's my hair. And sometimes what helps you, like free float, if you're like a little hesitant, almost use your finger as like a guard. So like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like if you're pushing off with your finger and you're having that as an anchor for you to like not dig in, you know what I'm saying? And then you gotta kind of feel how much of your finger you gotta.
My fingers are kind of short.
What do you mean? Your fingers are shorter than his thumb?
Like that.
Let me see. Yeah, whatever you feel, but like put it on the actual like guard right here like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you mean you can't? Does that feel not like comfortable? If you put it like that.
it's just the anchor, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, but then let me see.
Like, keep that straight.
Like that, keep it straight. And then even if you have to hold lower, the clipper lower. You didn't drop the clipper? Yeah. But then I'm actually touching the guard. So like it's like almost like it's all one in unison.
Like this, like this.
Yeah.
Okay,
There you go.
that makes sense.
Like I said, you could start without using it and then slowly like introduce it as like you feel needed as you're going higher, that you're like trying to free float. And be mindful, step back, always be stepping back and see you're not like cutting too much at the same time.
Yeah. Hey, that's fire though. I like that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The finger in Tosh?
Yep. I didn't sign up for that.
Nah, looks good though, it's coming up. Let's start taking out the bottom line.
And this, I actually recently went to y'all's method, like starting clothes first, and that shit does.
It helps.
I feel like it helps a lot.
I feel like it makes a difference. I feel like a lot of people are scared to start with their clothes.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to just kind of move down, and then I guess people see these guidelines that we set as like barriers, like as if you can't pass them up anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
to me, I don't see them as like a barrier. Just because I set my guideline with the lever open there, that doesn't mean sometimes I'll still be with the lever closed and I'll be touching up here. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta eventually learn to build that intuition of how to really manipulate the clipper to kind of get any little dark areas faded. But yeah, I'm gonna start with the clipper lever closed.
Because I used to do start with half guard, but now that I do this, it blends in immediately instead of
And then
has to go back and forth. But
exactly, and then sometimes I mean it kind of helps you, or it challenges you to like, because even though I know I'm gonna open it, I try to get rid of it just with it closed.
Yeah.
And it forces me to learn how to be a little bit softer while still controlling the clipper.
Yeah.
Not feeling like I'm inconsistent with my pressure.
Yeah. And I went back to what you said while I was here, is flicking
Yeah.
like kind of flicking it. But
That's why, like, and if that's inconsistent, that's what I tell people, man. Even if you have to invest in a mannequin, draw like 1/4 inch lines, and then 1/2 inch lines, and then full inch lines. And even if you're just there, like, you know what I'm saying, staying in between those lines,
yeah,
it kind of helps you build those stability muscles in your hand and your wrist to like kind of stay consistent, moving side to side. But yeah, see, like for the most part, that's already blended.
That's crazy. I don't know.
I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. It forces you to like be lighter with your hand. Now I'm opening to a 3/4 because visually I still see that it can look cleaner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this is where I always say, like, have reference photos so you can start developing your eye to look at these details. That's what I used to do, man. It's just, even if you take a picture of your own client, I'll study that and then I'll put it next to like a whatever I consider to be a perfect fade.
Yeah.
And then kind of just ask myself these things like, why doesn't it look like as clean like this? You know, and I'll tell myself, all right, well, I remember the steps that I used, but maybe I was scared to go up higher with this lever position. So now I'll write a note on my system. I'm gonna go a little higher, even though it feels like I'm gonna fuck up, I'm gonna still try it because I wanna achieve a different fade. And then I'm always improving on that system that I have. And like real light, and I'm doing that thing where I'm using like my nail.
Yeah.
And I just open it all the way, and it's kind of like just touch anything. Touch anything. Tom said, I ain't never coming back.
Weird on this side. Type of services you guys be doing over
And, the kind that tip well. But yeah, so, and then this is where you start understanding too how to like tilt the clipper. See how like that little line is dark right there?
Yeah.
Or like just focus right on that line and try to just break it up. It's almost like using your thinning shears
Yeah.
to just be detailed. So the more you tilt your clipper, the less it's gonna cut. It's almost like if you're using your shears like that.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. So now I'll move on to over here. Start again with the lever close. Being real soft with this so I can. See, that's pretty much blended, but like I said, I'm gonna still run through all my lever positions.
Yeah.
And then open it all the way. And this is where you like kind of visually gotta keep stepping back. If you have a mirror, use a mirror. You know, I have the camera, so I'll be using the camera. Or just kind of trust your eyes to visually let this come in. I feel like at the same time, you have to eventually learn how to build that intuition of learning when to depend on the system and when to depend on your eyes.
Yeah.
You know, because the system will tell you like there's still another lever position to use, but then your eyes will tell you like it already looks good. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to keep going. See right here, I'm using that nail, so like kind of, you can throw a guard on, but using my finger, it's almost like a cheat code with having to throw a guard on. I'm lifting the cutting blades away from the head.
Yeah.
And then always be mindful. That's why I like to move a little slow too in the beginning. Be mindful and like try different angles of the clipper. Like see, I'll do this first, and then I'll do this first and see which one feels better before I proceed. And I'm always kind of like pivoting back and forth. It'll help you kind of achieve that blend a lot better. And open it all the way. It's kind of good to know. This is where I like stop and kind of look back. There's nothing too obvious. I feel like I can see some touch-up work, but like I said, I want to run through it. Then whenever after I style it and everything, then I'll decide like how that looks then.
Okay, bet.
And then just kind of focus on this area right here, starting with the lever closed. And make it a challenge to yourself. So I want to try to get rid of that line without creating another one. Yeah, it looks good. It's a lot easier with his style of hair, but I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that because you could actually easily f it up too.
Show them how it looks.
I really just want to get you to the point to where like you can do this while you're dancing.
Yeah. I've never floated the clipper. Like, I could get to a good fade, but it's definitely like I'll create a whole other guideline with my clothes, and then I'll open it and then take it out.
Yeah, you're just restarting the process of setting guides. So
Yeah.
I know it may be a little difficult, but yeah,
Yeah.
build that mindset so that you're in your mind. If you're thinking that, your body will eventually like catch up and kind of make you do things like free flow and be lighter, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you have to kind of keep that in your mind that you don't want to create a guide anymore.
Yeah.
And then once you're done with the lever close, then open it, lever 3/4, and then open as you move up on that line. And wherever it gets dark, that's where, like, see, like right there, it's being a little stubborn right there, so kind of tilt it in there. And yeah. Try to like pass it and then throw the clipper so that it leaves it light. And then I want you to kind of just stay in this area and then go through all the lever positions just in this area. And then we'll do the middle and then the front.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's looking good though. Yeah. Yeah. He kind of just keep creating a line for himself to kind of like, because people, it's just a way to kind of like stay on track. That's what they feel. They need to keep seeing something to work on. But you got to develop the eye to not depend on that. Because one dude I used to train used to depend on it so much, he ended up dying.
Young age too.
I'm cool with that, man. I'm down. I feel like we can work on it a little bit more, but like try to like right there and yeah, right there, both of those areas. But I'll let you go over them one more time and then we'll move on. Like I said, we'll leave it as touch up towards the end. This is where I tell you, like, in order to be efficient, I give myself like 3 tries. I'll be like, I'll pass it once to the left, one to the right, and then go back, and then move on. And that within itself is like another way of challenging your mind and your body to be softer.
Yeah.
Or to like force yourself to get it down like quicker, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it looks good. Now let's do the same thing and just focus on small areas. Yeah, did you run through all the levers?
Yeah, but this is a little dark. I'm just gonna.
Okay,
finish
yeah,
it.
go ahead, just finish.
This is how y'all. Every time I watch a video, I'm like, damn, how does that first no lever just get it out?
Is it starting to make sense for you then?
Yeah,
Now you know like more or less kind of the mindset you need to have when you approach that first line.
yeah,
I think it'll help your fades. 'Cause for the most part, your setup is good. Like again though, just kind of keep it in mind that you're not creating lines. You're creating guides for yourself. But visually, you just kind of have to like just memorize where those guides are at, so you're not so dependent on visually seeing lines everywhere.
This is one of those things that he can try with how we mentioned like that he's been doing with less cuts.
Yeah.
Because inevitably I feel like he's gonna want to go back to the old ways of inserting the motion.
Yeah, it's hard to practice when you have to build these habits in your mind whenever you're like, you know, taking it slow.
yeah.
And the front part looks good. You ran through all the levers right here?
Uh-uh.
Okay, we'll keep going and then we'll kind of touch up that little piece before we move on. Mail time. When it comes, I wanna yell. Makes me wanna whack. Where's Drew? Did you ever see Blue's Clues? I see, that looks way better. All right, now we can go ahead and move on and just start taking out the rest of the bottom. That's it, you're done. That's fire.
That's a new style.
Dang, I'm actually hyped. It feels good. Like I feel like I'm actually doing it right. You know?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna tell you, like everything that we just did, don't do that. Nah. Just don't. That's actually the wrong way. I'm gonna show you the right way. And now that we're gonna take off the rest of the bottom of the hair, bro, even here is where I'll be soft and it's almost like I'm tapering into the top part. That's why I like to take off this line like towards the end. A lot of people get all pissed off because I do it this way. But you see how I left a little guide?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I'm using the trimmer and the shaver as they were pair of clippers so that I can not accidentally use my shaver too high and create another guide.
Yeah.
And the same thing with this. I'm gonna use only like about a finger's width of the shaver. Yeah, so that I can be real light. Sometimes I'll start right at the top, wherever that line's at, and just be real light. I'm trying to use this in a jagged way, like kind of like cornered, Because if I'm like this, you're more prone to create a straight, obvious line. So I like to use it almost like angled, so that if it does create a line, at least it's kind of like at an angle, real light. Now, then after that, once I feel like I established the connection, then here's where I'll start kind of like really shaving the hair down. And I always use the back of my finger to kind of feel on the skin, make sure I feel no stubble. Just kind of feel on everything, make sure it feels, I like to make sure it feels really bald. And then like in the mirror, like right there, it looks faded. But me, visually, I still see like a little bit where I can help soften it up to look cleaner. So I'll still come in with a trimmer. And just with the corner, kind of just break up little, anything that might look off to me. Go for it. Remember, flare out a little bit towards the top just to kind of create that guide. And I always run the trimmer through here. Even though you can't see nothing, I still run through it.
Yeah.
Because there's some people that have like this peach fuzz hair that just kind of annoys me when people like forget to cut it.
Yeah.
So I still run my, You see how you got shit there and you can't even really see it?
I'm gonna get that out.
Yup. Pretty powerful, these trimmers.
Yeah.
I like how strong they are. And they feel like they're not strong because they're real light.
Yeah. It's
But-
crazy how they feel. I don't know if I like it. The black ones. I like the black ones.
Yeah, the black ones are hard. That's what she said. So you try to
So
like,
you just-
yeah.
Go with the corner and
Just use a corner. I'm still going up. I don't really ever do the down thing, but you see how like real light?
Yeah.
Just go slow and like you start eventually getting the feel.
It's just like.
And you could even
same
use
as
that
a
finger thing the same way you use a clipper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like that.
Hey.
There you go.
Okay.
Yup, look at him go. Mason's flying over here. And like I said, if there's gonna be some times where you'll still like, even though you're trying hard to like not leave a line, as long as it's real faint and you're being soft with it, you'll still come back in with the trimmer and detail it back out. Might have to use the other point, the other side of on this side, just to kind of help like really feed the hair into there, but just be light with it. Most of the time the hair comes this way. On everybody's head, it usually goes that way. So you have to kind of bring the shaver this way. So if you feel like with the back of your finger, do this. See how you feel it real rough? Now flip it to the double side and then that'll help you kind of get in there even better. Yeah, but then still kind of keep this like that and then come this way. Yeah, like that. Kind of feel it? That feels real soft there.
Yeah.
And I just go over it with the trimmer, just right there in that area, just kind of blend in a little nice. That shit looks good. Oh yeah. Fadedculture.com. Y'all can get the thinning shears and the 6-inch shears for one hell of a price. It's the same steel that samurais used when they went to war against the Mexicans. Just to soften up this connection. You could even start detailing with this. You want to hit this side a little bit, kind of like you see that little line right there. I want you to hit this line a little bit more. So like when you bring the comb in, kind of pick it up like that. A little bit more. There you go. And do it right here too. And I'm gonna just go over it and just kind of add a little texture to the top, just so it don't sit so blunt and heavy. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just refine the lineup and try to get it as perfect as possible now. I'm gonna just use some of the best clay in the market. They didn't even pay me to say that. No, for real. It's so good, it's edible.